Welcome to Men's Style Fashion. I'm not a petrol head, so why Le Mans 24? As a driver, why do you want to be here?
Well, I mean, it's probably one of the biggest races on the planet.
Yep.
You know, you have the Le Mans, you have Indy, and you have Monaco.
Yes.
It's a grueling 24-hour race. It puts man and machine right to the limit. Every year I see grown men cry here. You know, it's one of those races that just wears you down. It's the only word I can say for it. It's tiring, it's long, and it's hugely competitive.
How fast are you going out there?
Oh, I mean, you know, it's one of the fastest tracks. So you're doing over 290 kilometers an hour, so just under 200 miles an hour. Yeah, it's pretty quick. But the thing that's very difficult about Le Mans is you have these long straights, and in the dark, the visibility's not great. But you have heavy braking zones, so to try and judge where you need to brake within a few feet at how many splits of it, you know, tenths of thousandths of a second, the judgment there over 24 hours is really critical, so it really requires a lot of concentration.
Can you talk us how it feels to go so fast? What does that feel like?
Well, at the end of the day, you know, everything slows down, but when you're able to adapt, your mind is able to judge, and you have the ability to slow things down, you extend your vision, you drive with more anticipation. And you kind of get acclimatized to the speed, really. But it is fast. It is fast, and when you spectate, you'll see the speeds are great. You know, and also one of the hardest things I think is the speed differential between the cars. So we're in the GT class, which is probably one of the most competitive, but we're also racing against LMP1 sports cars, which are a little bit faster, and you have quite a lot of different drivers, and you know, the judging all of those different speeds and in the dark when you can't see a lot is really instinctive, and it's quite stressful because obviously Le Mans is one of the biggest races on the planet. You have major manufacturers here. You've got Ford and all the big manufacturers wanting to win this great race, so it's tough.
It's a great point. How do you handle that pressure personally?
Well, I think by the time you're at this stage in your career, you've kind of had that for a long time, so you learn to deal with it, and I think you learn to suppress those emotions and thoughts that are not helpful, and you just concentrate on focusing in on your job and trying to be concentrated and and fast without making mistakes. So you know you have so much to deal with that you have no time to allow the other things to come in, but it's only afterwards when you look back you realise how important those races are, you know.
Wow. How do you handle exhaustion? How do you know when to come in and not feel guilty for it, thinking, gosh, you know what, it's been...
You don't.
Right.
You're paid to drive the car till the end, so you know, obviously if you had an issue and you were not correct, then you'd have to pit, but I don't think there's any racing driver that I know that's ever done that.
Let's talk about the fans, the camp. Have you ever been walking around where people are camping?
Yep.
Have you
Absolutely.
that?
Yeah, no, I've seen it. I mean, we've got a lot of fans here. You know, it's a big race. Lots of British fans and lots of fans from Guernsey and the Channel Islands where I live. So I think they actually have their own field, the Guernsey field, and yeah, I mean, I've got some of them texting me now, trying to get over here to see me and stuff. So yeah, it's amazing for that.
What's your greatest fear?
I think that the greatest fear for me is not doing a good job, you know, and you know, just wanting to perform well, and you know, it's a team effort, you know, and yeah, everyone works so hard to be here, so every driver is always concerned that they're maybe not happy with the car or something like that, but you know, we're very lucky this year. I mean, you know, I've got great teammates, we're in a very strong position, we're leading the World Championship, and you know, we need to finish this race with a lot of points.
I just watched the documentary on Bruce McLaren, a pioneer, an engineer of car technology. How involved are you as a driver within the car itself?
Well, obviously, you know, the days of drivers preparing and engineering their own cars are long gone, because the technology now is just massive. You know, I mean, we're supported by Multimatic. They built with this car with Ford and all the engineers, and the technology that goes into this Ford GT is just phenomenal. It's like Formula One standard. But as a driver, you're definitely can lead the program. You can guide the program on how the car feels and where you feel the weaknesses are and how you can improve and look for performance and managing all the marginal gains. And I think the driver is like, you know, the CEO of the team in a lot of ways, because they lead the team in tough times. They show fighting spirit. In good times, they bring the team in, because we're the lucky guys that get to drive the car and you know, stand on the podium. But you know, we also go home at the end of the race, and the guys in the garage, you know, work on the car and build the car and do engine changes and everything else. So that's grueling for them. So I think, you know, as a driver, you're very much, I would say, the motivator, and you're showing that to the team that, you know, commitment, dedication on track is there, so that they are all energized to give you the best.
Okay, from a female perspective, could a female do a race like this? We've had many discussions, and it's not that we haven't got the intellect. Is it just too physical for a woman to take on?
Well, I think, you know, there have been some female drivers who've done very well. Definitely, I think it's possible. You know, I just think it comes down to desire. You know, do you really want to be out there at midnight when it's pouring a rain doing 200 miles an hour? And you know, that's the difference, I think. And I've raced against some excellent drivers, female drivers, and I just would say that I'm sure it's possible to get you know, a female at the highest level, but it comes down to desire. Whether you want, you know, I've always said driving a car quick is a matter of willpower. Sooner or later you go beyond your limit, the car's limit and everything, and you have to be prepared to do that every day.
And one final question, your iconic inspiration as a car driver, who historically did you look up to get into the industry?
Oh, I mean, I was inspired by the era of Mansell and Damon Hill, and you know, these guys, Derek Warwick and people like that were my heroes, you know. And obviously Mansell went on to win world titles along with Damon, and you know, I think at that time I was very much inspired, and those guys have sort of, you know, allowed my generation to come through, and hopefully I will do the same to the junior drivers. You know, I won 3 world championships, and I hope to win another one with Ford. Let's see. But you know, let's see what we can do to inspire the next generation as well.
To your fans, to the up and coming people that want to be you, what's your top tip to become at your level? What do they need to do?
The thing for me, I think, that got me through to this stage, and I've been a paid racing driver for over 16 years. I think you have to be prepared to be your own worst critic, but in a positive way. And I think you have to be very honest and hard-working, and lose the ego. Just work on your own performance, and be honest with your team, and focus on being the best driver you can be every day.
Oh, thank you very much.
All right.